So it's another day and it's another opportunity to talk about Chelsea. And so I'll do that because it's not good, is it? It's not good. And so today's question is very, very simple. When will Chelsea win trophies again? It's a rather difficult question, but we'll try and answer that. And it's because Chelsea are having a strange season. They quite recently lost to Johan Klopp's Liverpool and very young kids in the Carabao Cup final when there was a trophy awaiting them and are sitting mid-table, at the moment in the Premier League. All this after spending around $1 billion in the last 3 or 4 transfer windows. So we'll try and see or ask the critical question: when will Chelsea come good? Now, before we start, let me tell you about Chelsea's bet sponsor, Parimatch, and they are this episode's sponsor. A big thank you to Parimatch. Parimatch are giving you a great offer to triple your first deposit. You won't get this anywhere. Triple your first deposit. So, for example, you deposit 1,000 Ghana cedis, 1,000 Ghana cedis. Instantly, you will see your 1,000 Ghana cedis triple to 3,000 Ghana cedis. But, and this is a big but, you have to use my promo code Thierry200 when registering at parimatch.com.gh. Remember, the promo code is Thierry200 and earn 200% bonus right from the start. Sometimes I wish Pochettino had my bonus at Chelsea to start with some 200% bonus, when he took over. But hey, nothing matches this great offer from Parimatch. So back to the Chelsea problems. Let's see how we can fix it. Now, Chelsea are going through it. Can't win games consecutively and are fighting mid-table clubs for a spot around 9th, 10th, and 11th. There are few posters lately from Chelsea, and it's frustrating to be, a Chelsea fan. I mean, Liverpool, Manchester City, and even Arsenal are fighting for the Premier League title. And Chelsea, my God, the problems are there to see. But first, it looks like the handbrakes have been applied on the transfers, because that was really, really, really huge on how Chelsea were operating. The number of players that were coming in, the people that were bringing in the players to begin with was another issue. And it seems finally, maybe Pochettino, maybe the owners finally have the football brains to pull the brakes on buying players. It's not about having the money. It's about buying the right fit. And so far, they have bought too many wrong fits. We'll talk about that. The first problem that I see with Chelsea this season is too many young kids. Too many kids. Chelsea wanted to sign young players and groom them and mature them and still compete for a spot in the top 4. But that was a terrible plan, wasn't it? That doesn't work in today's high demands of modern football. Number 2, second problem I see, and is one of the reasons why Chelsea are struggling, is now these players have been assembled and the tactical approach by the coach isn't always right. Right? The tactical imbalance in the Chelsea team. Player selections have been an issue, and for that, it's sometimes down to the injury list. I mean, you can't blame them. So many players out on, at different times of the season. And this time in the video, let me remind you to hit, the like button and subscribe if you haven't. A big thank you if you just did. But if you didn't, please like the video and subscribe. Now, players are struggling to identify their positions on the field in transition, and that is a coach problem, isn't it? What I've realized is so many players push upfield when Chelsea attack teams and leave one central midfielder to protect the counter-attack. That most of the time will fail, right? Because they have a striker up front, naturally. They have a number 10 pushing upwards. They have a left winger on the left side, a right winger on the right side, being Cole Palmer, Raheem Sterling, Mudryk, Madueke, whoever starts in these positions. You have the number 10 being usually Gallagher, and mostly another central midfielder. And of course, that's Enzo Fernandez, pushing up the field and leaving Caicedo at the back, causing so many chance concessions. Now, Caicedo has 9 bookings this season in the Premier League, and that shows just how much he's been exposed to threats and has had the chance in to save the team. Not good. I'm not even going to kid about that. Now, I'm not a football manager, but this definitely should be basic. You don't leave your back two open. You would definitely get punished in a punishing league, just like the Premier League. This is just another tiny bit of Chelsea's problems this season. Now, here's another issue that I see with Chelsea. You see, when you sign players at amounts like 100 million, you expect certain level of quality. So far, not many of the Chelsea's dream assembly are peaking. And that is really sad for the fan base. It's sad for the club because they need these players playing their A game, because collectively playing your A game means that the team also plays an A game. And that's not what we are seeing. Enzo Fernandez, it's a bit harsh, isn't it? Because he's putting a fair shift of quality performances, but it's not consistent, and a lot of the time it's in silos. It seems removed from the rest of the team. Mikhailo Mudryk is one man that shocks me. He's shocking the entire football world. He seems to have forgotten how to play football. His final decisions are very suspect. What he does with the ball, I mean, you can see the talent is raw, it's there, but for some reason he's not growing at Chelsea. Romero Lavia, I mean, we all thought this man was going to complement the efforts of Caicedo and Enzo in midfield. We haven't seen him in the Chelsea colours. It's really, really sad. Marco Cucurella, a lot of people forget him. He's still a Chelsea player. David Washington came in for 60 million. Now, I mean, he's one of the young projects, and we expect, a longer term project. And so we expect him to come up later with the goodies. Ugo Chukwu obviously was also in there. We'll be looking at how he performs. And Sanchez, I mean, Ugo Chukwu actually started the season well and then picked up an injury since October or so. Hasn't really been himself after that. Robert Sanchez, the goalkeeper, was at times good, mostly bad, with his distribution and, of course, with shot stopping as well, which essentially defines a goalkeeper in a modern day. And so many others haven't actually hit the roof with their performances. And that is where the problem is. These players have come in, for great amounts of money, and most of them have proven they don't deserve to put on that Chelsea shirt. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Now, at this point, for us to identify if Chelsea can actually begin winning, we need to also look at the manager. Pochettino's job has been on the line for Chelsea, or at Chelsea, for quite a while now. Every time Chelsea loses, there's more pressure on Poch. And to be honest, the ups and downs have been many. At some point, Chelsea fans turn on their manager, and rightly so. The defeats have been painful, and there are little signs that the club will move forward. How many times will Chelsea lose a game and say that it's a process? I mean, yeah, it's a process, but you want to see some clear signs of progress, right? But this process isn't yielding any progress that is leading to success. And so there are times when you think Chelsea should be able to win certain games. For example, what were they doing against Brentford? I mean, how many times will you choke it up against it? Are Brentford even a mid-table club? I mean, how many times will you choke against Brentford? Some games that are winnable, Chelsea just lost. And against Liverpool, I mean, Liverpool, yeah, it's a big club, especially under Joan Club. They know how to grind it. But it was a game against a team that paraded young players that Chelsea should have beaten. I don't know. So, I mean, at this point, Poch obviously needs to answer questions. And of course, a few names have been linked, including Chelsea's feeder club, Brighton. So Roberto De Zerbi has been linked with the club, but let's keep him, because why would Chelsea do another Brighton manager? We all saw what happened with Graham Potter. De Zerbi, you're good. We don't want you anywhere near Chelsea. I'm sorry. So Sporting Lisbon's manager has also been mentioned. That's Amorim, and he's good, very attack-minded, but will that work in the Premier League? Who punish managers like that? Remember, the last man to do so, Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United. How is he faring? We also the football he played at Ajax. And I think that, with all due respect, Sporting Lisbon are a great club, and he got them to win the title for the first time in 19 years. They are actually 1 point behind Benfica now. They are playing very good football. They play gung-ho football, throwing about 7 players, up the field, leaving 3 players at the back, sometimes 4. It's good. It looks good. But of course, when you're playing against teams in a league whose average squad is worth less than 50 million euros, you don't expect any less than provide some really good individual players, quality players in your team as a top club to defeat these guys. Now, there are other managers available. For example, Jose Mourinho is available, isn't he? I'd love to see him back at Chelsea, but he doesn't really cut it for the squad. And so Antonio Conte is another available manager, but he won't work at Chelsea now. Thomas Tuchel, he recently left Chelsea under very bizarre, controversial circumstances. He's not coming back to the club. Zinedine Zidane will succeed in a club that is close to winning already, and Chelsea are far from it. I don't think Zidane will pick this Chelsea project. I don't think they'll go for him anyways. So you're stuck with Poch for now until there's a break somewhere in the market where Chelsea can actually get a really good manager. And Chelsea need to find a sporting director. So this is the next step. Chelsea need to find a sporting director. It could be mid-season, it could be at the beginning of next season, but it must be someone who will shape the tactical identity of the club. Two guys are in there now doing a decent job. That's Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. They are playing a big role, but so far, that role isn't showing on the pitch. Until Chelsea figure out what it means to constantly win on the pitch, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter what they do off the field. It doesn't work. That is not how it works. So signing young players on long-term deals and beating the FFP and beating rivals to signings and all that won't make sense until there are actually some trophy wins. Can Chelsea come good and begin winning trophies? Well, it will take a while, whether or not they stick to Poch. It could take years, and I think that if they stick to Poch, it would actually take years because of how he started. But those seasons we saw Chelsea, win trophies every single season, they are well gone. They're well gone. If Chelsea was going to win a trophy this season, it was going to be the Carabao Cup. They missed out on that. Premier League is far from that. They are not in Europe. The FA Cup is another opportunity, but remember, there are strong clubs in there still. Manchester City are in there. And so it becomes very difficult. But of course, stranger things happen in football, so you never know. Leave your comments and I'd love to read them, right under this video. And remember to subscribe to this channel. Like the video too, as it motivates me to bring you more. For more videos, hit this button and stay glued to this channel. Until next time, bye-bye.